Kirk, I know you guys didn't get the win, but do you feel like you made progress personally and as a team after what happened last week?
I think we did some good things. I think there are plenty of places we have to get better, and until we win, we're always going to focus on where we need to improve. And while Seattle's a great football team and did a lot of good things tonight, we went toe-to-toe with them, and there are still so many things that we are capable of doing better. And I think that gives us hope going forward, knowing the kind of team we have. It's just a matter of putting it all together and putting it out there in one whole game to get that win.
Well, for you personally, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions in the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think stats are stats. I think ultimately quarterbacks can be judged on winning, and we're not doing that right now. But hopefully we can get in a stretch right now and get right back in it. I've seen it happen before, and we did some good things tonight. Absolutely, we moved the ball at times and made some big plays, and I continue to get better. I'm continuing to learn. By no means do I feel like I've arrived, but every game, every rep, I'm getting better, and I feel like I'm getting close.
Kirk, you guys in the second half had starting field position at the 1, at the 8, at the 9. You have to go 90 yards. You have to go 80 yards. How difficult can that be for an offense, knowing that you're not in a short field or any of those kinds of situations? You have to go the whole length of the field.
Yeah, Zach, that's a great point. When you're backed up like that against a great defense, the odds are stacked against you. And, when you get down to the strike zone, when you get down to the red zone, you want to come away with touchdowns instead of field goals. So that missed opportunity there where we had to kick a field goal was tough. But like you said, when you've got bad field position, it is, a challenge to go 80, 90 yards against, arguably the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah, Jay was saying that early on it looked like you might have been a little bit tentative, missing some pretty short passes. And he said, through the game you made some easy passes look hard and some hard passes look easy.
Yeah, I feel like if I could point to some place where I need to get better, it would be on third down. On third down and medium, third down and long, when we're looking for a completion, we're looking for a first down. The odds are stacked against us a little bit. They're pinning their ears back rushing, but we need to find a place somewhere. I think those are the places where I can, will, and need to get better. But as I said earlier, I'm close, and I can feel myself getting close. I'm not there yet, but I do feel like I'm really getting close.
Seemed like there were some communication issues with the headset. What was going on there?
There were communication issues with the headset, but that happens on a regular basis. Headsets go out at times, especially in 2-minute situations. That's kind of always been something you have to be prepared for, and just unfortunate, but it's something that does happen probably more often than you'd think.
Kirk, I know there were some players moving in and out at right tackle, throughout the game. How did you feel about the amount of time you had to work with? How conscious of you were the pressure coming, and did that change or get more comfortable as the game unfolded?
They have a great pass rush in Seattle, and so they were bringing it, and we didn't take any sacks, I don't believe, so that's a positive. But at the same time, when you lose and you didn't quite make enough plays to win, you start to look at plays where you maybe could have made a play or think about what you may have done differently. So to answer your question, they did a great job protecting. Didn't have any sacks, which I think sums it up for them up front.
Could you take us through the 60-yard touchdown to Jackson and then his 57-yarder a little bit later on too?
Yeah, I'm still learning what it's like to play with a guy like Deshaun. He's in a category all his own, and it takes some time to build that chemistry and learn how talented he really is, how much you can just let the ball go and he goes and gets it and is so good at tracking it in the air. And I'm still learning how to best work with him. But those 2 plays showed how good he is, and it's just a matter of every week finding ways to get him the football, because when the ball's in his hands or when we're giving him a chance, good things seem to always happen.
Kirk, when Robert was playing, Coach Gruden said that he always had the option to run. Do you have that option to run when you feel like you can?
I do, yeah. From a play calling standpoint, from a scheme standpoint, the coaches have always allowed that freedom there, and that's still built into the game plan with me in there. It's not as natural for me as it is for a Russell Wilson or Robert, but I think there are probably times where I need to go back and look at myself and be tough on myself and say, can I be more of a runner here? Or maybe not a runner, but a scrambler, a creator, or off-schedule plays. And I think when you watch the great quarterbacks play, a lot of them are good at off-schedule plays, and that's, I think, an area where I can get better. It's tough to simulate until you're in a real game with a live pass rush, but of many areas where I'm looking to be hard on myself, I think that's an area where I can go back and try to improve.
Kirk, the rushing numbers weren't great, but you guys stuck with the run even when it wasn't looking so great for you guys. Why was that important?
Well, I feel like that's our foundation. That's what we do so well is that zone running game, and we have great running backs. And when you start to get away from your identity and get away from who you are, I think that you got bigger problems. So we have to stick to what we are and what we're good at. And we knew going into the game that Seattle is going to load the box. They're good at stopping the run. They're a top defense and have Super Bowl rings for a reason. They're going to be good at stopping the run. But we feel like we needed to commit to it because it's who we are and it's our identity. And for the most part, we are good at it. But credit Seattle in that sense.